Welcome to Yeukai Business Show, UK's premier business show where we feature business thought leaders, high achievers, and industry experts. Today's episode is brought to you by World Outsourcing Solutions Limited, a company that specializes in helping executive business owners with virtual assistant services and business growth systems. Here's your host, Yeukai Kechidori.
Welcome back into another very special episode. Today truly is a very special episode because today we're going to talk about one aspect of mastering your life. If you remember from our previous conversation, we were talking about how to master the game of life. My guest today will demonstrate to you that there are two aspects or two things that you need to master in order for you to master the game of life. Now, what are those things? First of all, is you have to master money. Really know how money works. You know, what are the laws around money? We covered that to great length last time when we were together. But today, we want to talk about love. Some people may think, these two are exclusive. But my guest here today will show you that these two things are mutual. You want to master these two, you increase your chances of mastering life. You begin to do life on your terms. You begin to do life with the people you want to do life with. And you can turn everything that life throws at you and be successful in all of it. My guest today is Ana Lennyr. Ana, thank you so much for joining us here on the show for the second time. How are you?
I'm doing great, Yeukai. Thank you for inviting me again.
You know what? You are such a busy lady. We were talking before the recording here that you've just come back from a weekend of learning and teaching others how to do life well. Tell us some of the highlights of the event that you've just come back from.
Yeah, so we went to exactly one of those conferences where you would think that it's only money, right? Because it's only business and everybody's got to go. Well, the truth is that, today we're going to talk about the secrets of how your personal life is influencing your professional life. Because this is the truth. As we are in control of our own lives, our professional life can exhaust you, can make us very tired. If our personal life, our love at home, it doesn't exist. And we had a lot of entrepreneurs like that were, worried that they stayed too much, that they don't answer the phone to their wives, that they don't, that they have a lot of responsibilities home to get to. And this is the pressure that the regular entrepreneur has. And today we're going to talk about how do we release all this pressure, because you're happy at home, you're making money at work, and everybody masters the game of life.
That's right. Absolutely. So you can either become a master at life, or you can become a master of misery. You choose which one you want to be. And in this whole conversation, you are going to learn how to master the game of life by mastering two aspects, money and love. And today, the focus is on love. Before we dive into our conversation, I want to draw your attention to the training that Ana Lennyr have put together for people who intend to master the game of life. You can find this training by going to this website here, analennyr.com/lovely YK. So it will put this link as well at the bottom of this recording. And also you can find this training on Yeukai Mastermind Center, where you can find other training materials that are there. What I'm excited about this training, before we jump on to there, just to give you a snapshot of what is covered in this particular training for people who are forward thinking and who wants to master the game of life. 7 things. Number 1, you're going to cover to discover how to remove misconception about love, how to acquire relationship fundamentals, evaluate the 5 main values in life. What are those? Everything you do is decided by the values and the beliefs that you have in place. And in this training, Ana will show you exactly how to put, what are the 5 values you need to have. In this, you also discover how to master 4 men and women archetypes. In fact, today we're going to be talking about that very briefly. Quite interesting. And I think if you are a business owner, you want to know what are the 4 types of men, what are the 4 types of women, There is no other. Once you master this, you can master in relationships. You will also learn how to understand archetypes, dynamics, how to transform your relationship, and how to communicate perfectly and effortlessly. This is one of my favorite ones, how to communicate effortlessly and perfectly. Once you do this, you truly are on your way to mastering the game of life. I bring this to you because I too want to master this, and I'm continuously learning about that. Let's dive deep here. And I know we have quite a bit to go, so let's go straight into the conversation. Where would you start if you are bringing, if somebody comes to you, say, look, my love life is not as I think it should be. Is it really possible? Some people would ask to find true love. What would you say to them?
Yeah, so if you're not always happy when you get home, if you're not always happy when you come back home, okay, your professional life will be affected, but that little love life, but that little family life that you have, right? And a lot of people said that, oh, it's complicated, and we're going to talk about that because it's not, it's super easy. Or it's not possible. You can control it. Yes, you can control your business. You can control your love life. Okay? Just nobody taught us that, right? Nobody taught us these things. So if you haven't found yourself happy when you leave home, when you come back home, if you're not excited, that means that you need some relationship skills. You need some skills to learn how to do things, right? So today we're going to talk about what does it take to be loved and respected.
Oh, love.
What does it take to have amazing relationship inside your family with your kids, right? Mm-hmm. What does it take to have a successful marriage? To find the perfect partner for you, not perfect for the neighbor, okay, or your cousin, right? To never be heartbroken. Yes, this is possible, to never be heartbroken, right? Or to always be happy and smiling. Because if you are happy at home, that's your fuel of life that you bring into your professional life, and you become a money-making machine. Very simple.
That's exactly what my audience wants to know about. How do you become a money-making machine? Master this, the true love aspect of your life, and you become that.
Yeah. So when we're going to speak to conferences, to all kind of events with entrepreneurs, we found a specific type of entrepreneur who is quite desperate. And the reason why I told all the time David's story is because he's my youngest customer. He's 6 years old. And I met him about 3-4 months ago, and he was talking about dying since the age of 4. So here is the father, and very accomplished entrepreneur, extremely desperate of what's happening to his son, right? And I usually don't jump in, going directly to their house and finding out what it is, because we do everything online. So I rarely do that. But because it was a 6-year-old suicidal, I said, no, I have to go and see, right? So I went down there to find out that the mother was also depressed, that he was the invisible man in the household. Like he was coming in and nobody would ever notice that he's even home. His wife was asking him, when are you leaving? Not because she wanted him home, because she said that she needs 3 to 4 days to recover after he's leaving. I'm like, what is this? What kind of marriage is this? What kind of, environment is this? Relationships, the kid angry, depressed, talking about dying, talking about the fact that he's a jerk. What do you mean you're a jerk? You're 6 years old. You cannot be a jerk even if you try to be a jerk, right? So all these situations that happen a lot of times to entrepreneurs. And the poor man was very, very desperate. How do I help my wife? How do I help my kid? Leaving is not a solution. I'm just going to abandon them. I'm like, that's not going to work, right? So these kind of relationships happen all the time to us entrepreneurs and for men, and happen to women too, right? It's very common. And I would like to explain in this little training how we can overcome it. How can we put that family together, right? Because it's very, very important to do this. If we don't do this, we lose our kids.
Right.
in a way or another, not necessarily to suicide and depression, right? But to being angry at us because we've never been there, or to blame us for one thing or another, right? So these kind of things we really, really need to take an acting way, a doing way to solve it. Does it make sense, Yeukai?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you asked me if true love even exists, right? Even at the beginning of this, it's like, why don't we just talk about love? Why do we talk about true love? Because love is, how should I say, love has been connected all the time with pain, suffering, heartbreak. So when you talk about love, 90% of us understand, oh, really? Do I have to try again? Do you know how many times I have tried and it didn't work out, right? So when I talk, it's about true love, okay? And the acronym of TRUE stands for trust, respect, understanding, and evolving. And I talk about true love because not only it exists, it gives you this energy that you guys see in me all of the time when I'm talking, okay? That energy, that there is something there just fueling you up. There is a fire inside you that you need for your business, for your life, to keep on going, to never be tired, to never be exhausted. And that is very, very, very possible to exist, right? But love is not complicated. This is the first thing that I hear from people. Oh, the personal life is very, very complicated. And I give an example to American schools compared to Chinese schools. For a 5-year-old here in America, multiplication is very complicated. Nobody teaches multiplication at the age of 5. For a Chinese kid, multiplication is easy because they know it already. Their schools are teaching this kind of skill. The same with your personal life and true love. If you don't have the skills to do it, it's very complicated. Very complicated. If you do have the skills to do it, it's super, super, super easy. The same in business, the same in love. Do not think that these are two separate things in your life, because one fuels another. Does this make sense?
It does. Absolutely. The two are connected in almost every way, because if you don't understand one, you're certainly going to struggle in another one. That's why we have this correct recording today, so we can discover that. And I'm very, very interested to hear you talk about the 4 archetype, which is one of the aspects. Need you lead us into that and share your knowledge around this area?
Yeah, so there are only 4 types of men and women in the world. And everybody, how should I say, everybody thinks they're different and they're special, right? And here, I'm sorry to tell you, I'm not special, I'm not different. I'm one of those archetypes, okay?
Right.
So I'm not number 5, number 6, number 10, number a million, okay? But because we were not educated in this way, we are individuals. And yes, we are a combination of experience, a sum of experience. A lot of times we're a combination of heartbroken experiences, okay, of bad and painful experiences, right? So yes, there are 4 types of men, 4 types of women in the world. So we're going to start with 4 types of women, because I always put the men first and everybody gets offended, right? Because there's a reason why I do that, but nobody understands why, right? So let's talk to the women first, right? So we have 4 types of women. In the case, for example, of David's father that we talked about, exactly this case that we talked about, his wife was a princess. So his wife never worked a day in her life, right? She was a family home oriented to take care of a child, right? And she was a princess. She always wanted to be taken care of. These are what princesses are. A lot of times you see princesses that they're not able to not even drive because they just don't know how to do it. They don't know anything about computers, right? So these are extraordinary women. Do you know why? Because you would think it's like, oh, there is no way. Most entrepreneurs marry these kind of women because they believe that without them, these women cannot live. They cannot survive. That they need somebody like them to make them survive, right? So this is the combination that, it's all the time I see. And there is a trick with them. They always fall into depression. So you have to be very, very careful because there are a lot of emotional problems there. Yes, they can be solved, but we have to go to the other branch of my company and spend 3 to 5 months to solve them. So you don't want to get there, right? So I'm going to tell you how to not get there. The second type of woman, I call it the mistress. The mistress is always nails done, high heel, dresses, sexy, right? You see a lot of actresses like that, right? That are always posing in a picture up and down, right? And you see you're very, very attracted by these kind of females. It's like, oh, she looks good, she's smiling, she's open, right? So these are mistresses. The third type of woman in the world is me.
Before you go on to the third type, what is the downfall? I know we covered on the princess that they're susceptible to depression and all that.
Yes.
But what about the mistresses?
The mistresses are susceptible to cheating on you.
To?
Cheating on you. To find out. If they do not respect you as a man, they will cheat on you. They will leave you for another. So here you have to make sure that you are respected as a man by this woman. If you're not, she's going to just change it to another. Very easily, effortlessly. And you're like, oh my God, women cheat too. Yeah, mistresses cheat.
Right.
True. I mean,
what about the princess? Don't the princess do that?
No, the princess will almost never cheat. Well, they always will just, they will feel victimized if they're left, if they're abandoned, right? So they're either go into that victim mode, oh my God, look what he did to me, until somebody comes and saves them. Another entrepreneur, another visionary, another strong man that is like, oh God, this woman cannot live without me. She's going to become kookadoo, suicide or something. She can't even eat. She can't even drive to the grocery store. So I need to save her. Right? This is,
right.
Yeah. All right. So the third type of woman, that's the regular entrepreneurial woman, like me. Okay. And we had a CEO of a company. Her name was Cindy. And she calls me. She's like, I'm the CEO of this company. I have no clue what company is that. Anyway, do you know who I am? I'm like, you just presented yourself. Yeah, I know who you are. I had no clue who her company is. She's like, you have 1 week to save my marriage. Just listen to that. 1 week to save her marriage. Okay. It's like, I know her husband or something, right? Or I have a divorce paper in my hand and I'm just going to shove it up in front of my husband. That's a queen, right? That's a queen. That's her power. She takes it from work. It's all these women that you see at work, CEO and presidents of companies. You would never date them, man. You will never date them because they're going to cut off your throat. Okay, when they get angry or upset with you, there is no way you're going to date them, right? So I told her, he's like, listen, I need 3 days from you. Can I get 3 days from you? Can you take a break of 3 days? Yes. Like, okay, do this training, do this course, and then call me. In 5 days, her marriage was back on feet. 5 days. In 6 weeks, she even apologized to her husband, who she always believed that he doesn't understand her. But we're going to talk about who he was, and he understood her perfectly. He just didn't want her business problems brought into the home. He wanted her. He was seeing her, not her company. He didn't care about that, right?
So the queen, from my own understanding here, perhaps for those listening as well, the queen is an entrepreneur. She brings what she does at work back home. Is that,
yes.
I'm hearing that correct?
Yeah. So it's exactly like she fired somebody in 2 minutes that was working for her for 15 years. And her husband heard her on the phone. And he just totally deflated her, didn't want to talk to her. And she's like, why? I'm like, man, you're only married for 9 years. If it took you 2 minutes to fire a guy that you're working for 15, it's going to take you 1 minute to fire a husband, right? But she never saw this from that perspective. But that's work. But this is family. And like, no. For a man, when you are cutting another man off, he's just another man, right? So for a man, it's that thing that, okay, all right, that's work. But what she's going to do to me next, right? So here is for these kind of women, and I was in the same way, because the way I talk to you, Yeukai, or I talk to conferences, or I talk to entrepreneurs, is not the same way I behave with my husband. With my husband, I shut up. I don't talk until I'm asked, period.
Really?
Okay.
Well,
really. Okay. I know exactly when my husband comes home, and I make sure that everything is set up, that he doesn't even hear this conversation if he knows exactly what I do, right? Because this is not the kind of woman he wants at home. He doesn't want a fiery, knocking heads, fixing people, and I don't care, man. I just want love and attention from a woman. That's why I have a woman next to me. I want love and attention. I don't even need food. I don't even need nothing. Just love and some little of attention, right? So don't play with me, the Amazonic women, okay? Because I know you can leave me in 1 minute because you have your own business and you don't need me, because that's the downside of Amazonic women. They cut you off and that's it, right? That's their downside. They already know that, and that's why most men don't want strong women in their life, because they don't want to knock heads with them, and they prefer princesses. They cannot live without them.
Wow, makes perfect sense. It's
exactly.
So, what should women who
We still have a fourth archetype of women.
All right, okay, let's go to the fourth type.
We have a last one, who is a mother. The mother, you recognize them that they're never dressed up properly. They're always very comfortable. They're doing gardening. They never care about nails. They always take care of pets if they don't have kids, right? They're always earthbound. They have all kind of crap in their house, like little souvenirs from 20 years ago and stuff like that, right? And their downside is they become very angry and jealous. That's their downside. And sometimes this anger and jealousy reflects on their children, because they can't really express it towards their men. So these are the 4 types of women.
Wow, this is amazing. So there may be some women listening, and they identify that they are either a princess, they are either a mistress, or regular, or the queen, a regular entrepreneur, and they want to find love. What should they be doing? What should they be focusing on? These perhaps are their natural tendencies, but they want to find a husband or somebody who...
So now we should talk about, who do you want? What kind of men do you want? So we should talk about the 4 types of men.
All right.
Because depending on what kind of men do you want, you have to behave differently.
Wow.
It doesn't matter who you are, right? I'm a queen. I have a king. Yes, he knows that we is gone, that I take over everything in the house. But when he is home, I don't stab him in the back. I let him be the king. Do you see how the difference is? It's here. It's how you balance yourself up, not to be on the high up forever and get exhausted as a woman, but I have to do it all. And this is why most people don't even approach strong women, or they divorce strong women. If you can do it all, why do you need me as a man, right? So there are 4 types of men, depending on who do you want in your life, okay? And you have to be the right woman for who do you want in your life. The first type of man is called the creator. I like to call it Michelangelos of the world. These are doctors, engineers, designers, actors, everything that has to do with creation, sculptors, painters, all of these people, right? And they are, number 1 priority in their life is their creation. So I want you to think of Michelangelo. Michelangelo didn't care what he was eating, who he was marrying, who he was taking care of, you, if he had kids or not. He only cared about his creation. Somebody had to feed him, right? And usually the woman that has to feed him is the mother, because no other woman is going to take that responsibility to have another child in a man.
Right.
Right? So if you want a creator, and I saw creators that the wife was the mother to them, okay, taking care of them, but she was selling his paintings. Okay, so she was, they were great family together. She was the one marketing and selling his paintings. He was just painting. That's all he was doing, painting. Okay, and said how this relationship works great. There is money, there is love, there is, priorities in life, works great, right? This is how it works, right? So these are the kind of men, and a lot of them are doctors, by the way, and most people don't know, a lot of them are engineers and doctors, and these are creators. Their downside is also they slip in depression and victimhood, and they hide it. They hide it because they're men, and they don't consider that they need to express their emotions, right? They hide it. So by the time I get to them, a lot of them end up with PTSD. Okay, yeah, especially if they've been in the army or stuff like that. Rarely they go in the army, but they end up with all kind of traumatic stress that we're trying to just clean out, right? Because this is what their downside is. The second type of man, oh, you met him, Yeukai. This one, you met him, every entrepreneur has in his team. I have one, okay? It's the manager. It's the one that keeps everybody fired up. Let's go, 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 go. Can we take a break? No, let's go, 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 go. Okay, so that's the fire. It's a manager. The manager they're very good looking guys. They're all the time with high energy. And they will put their women first in life. So if you're a woman and you want a man that's going to put you first in life, you need to find a manager. The manager will only be able to manage somebody else's money. They will never be able to manage their own business or their own money unless they're learning that skill. Okay, so people that are like, oh, he's managing everything, he can manage his own business. No, he needs to learn to do that because for him, it's a different type of behavior. Okay, and when they're going downside with that, they always want to have sex. So for them, love and affection is only sex oriented when they're on the negative side of the element, right? But managers are amazing. Without them, we couldn't keep on going our businesses, right? And yeah, they're extraordinary, and they put their women first. This is the only type of man that's going to put his woman first. So this is what you want as a lady. You need to find a manager. Okay. This is why I'm saying that you need to be who you need to be to find the right guy or the right woman, because otherwise you will not find the right ones for you. And this is why love sounds so complicated, but it isn't. It's just a formula. It's just a formula. Who do you want? I'll tell you who to get and how to be and how to behave. And that's it. It's very simple. And you just not behave for 5 minutes. You become that person. And that's it. It's not a big deal. It's still you, right? The third type of men. That's us, okay?
Before we go to the third type of men, what sort of women does the manager often go after? Is that the queen, the princess, or the mother?
So the manager, I want you to think of Brad Pitt. He's like the type of manager, and Angelina Jolie being the queen, right?
Right.
So the manager would be always wanting to go for the queen because he thinks that she's amazing. Nevertheless, she always wants to go for another type of man. She doesn't like him so much.
Right.
Okay. So most women, they do not want something managerial, right? For example, I own my own company, and you talking to me as a manager, you're below me in a way, right? So most women, they do not want to go below. You see, men will always, when they have their own company, they will marry the cleaning woman. The woman, she's not going to marry the cleaning man or the maintenance man. Does that make sense, Yeukai?
Right.
So if you're higher up as a man, yeah, you just pick up somebody from the dungeons. It doesn't matter. You can bring her up as a man. A woman will not do that. A woman will not do that. Will not pick up a man from the garbage, from the low levels of life to bring him up. Okay? It's a matter of respect for ourselves. Does it make sense?
It makes sense, yes. So women always looks out for somebody who is above, so that they.
Yes, they always look up, and the manager for them is lower.
Right.
All right. So the manager is looking for the queen, and the queen is running away for the king. We're gonna talk about the king. so, so that's why I'm saying that whoever you want to be, it's very, very important that you understand all these dynamics, right? Because when you wake up that you're running after the wrong man. I had somebody New Year's Eve. I couldn't take any pictures because I was invited to go on a job. On a job where one guy wanted to get rid of his ex-girlfriend, and they asked me on New Year's Eve to come and get rid of her in a public setting. Okay, in a public setting, like pull her aside. It was New Year's Eve party. My husband flipped. What are you doing? I was like, what? I was hired by somebody to get it. How can you do this on New Year's Eve? I'm like, yeah. Do you want her to spend another year fooling herself and cheating herself that this man wants her when he doesn't, or I have to talk to her and she has this new year time to find somebody else that really loves her? Which one would you prefer? It's New Year Eve. You're going to destroy that person. No, I'm not going to destroy. I'm saving her from somebody that doesn't want her. Right? So these are matters of perspectives, right? These are matter of perspectives of how two people think differently, right? But at some point, of course, my husband had nothing to do. It was my job, right? I said, you can come with me. No, I don't want to ruin that woman's life. I want to save that woman's life. That's why I'm going there. Right. Right? So these kind of things that sometimes we think it's super, super complicated, but we don't look at the right perspective. We don't look at the right people that we want in our lives, right? Yeah. So the third type of person, we talked about it, the entrepreneur. I call him also a visionary. So the way I explain it is Elon Musk, right? So think about Elon Musk, who really doesn't care for kids and family, and that's 5 minutes of his day. And the rest of the 23 hours, okay, he's concentrating on going to Mars or inventing some kind of Tesla car or whatever, right? And here, what women, they don't understand. The entrepreneur is the sexiest man in the world. Everybody wants him. He's the sexiest man around. He's the one that speaks the best game. Okay? When you're around him, you're like, right? Totally melted, right? Well, usually a woman is number 7 on his list. 7 on his list. I'm not joking, okay? He has business, he has hobbies and freedom, he has friends. Then the mother is very important to him, the ex-wife is very important to him, and the ex-kids are very important to him. And then you're coming to number 7. So most women don't understand, like exactly like David's father that was doing the business and everything, and this poor princess of his wife slipped in depression. He doesn't pay attention to me. No, you're number 7. You have to understand that when you get married with somebody like that, don't have expectation for him to put you number 1. You should have get a manager if you want to marry with number 1. You're number 7 in his life, right? And these are, you know how we are called, because, you know, as a queen, I'm in the same kind of, air energy, is how we call it. We're called heartless. We're called without feelings. Why? Because imagine as an entrepreneur, as a business person, how many times do you hear the word no? I don't care about your business. I don't care about your service. So we are insensitized at the word no. I don't want you. I don't want this. It's like, okay, next. Who cares, right? And our feelings are about 10% compared to how all of the other archetypes are feelings. They have really, really deep feelings, and they hold on to pain and grudges, and we don't have time for that. Next, okay? We got to keep on moving, right? As an entrepreneur. So we are called a lot of times heartless. On the other side, we are the people who, if we see that something doesn't work, we leave because we don't know how to fix it. Okay? And then it's like, oh my God, he abandoned me. No, I didn't know how to fix all of this, and I don't waste my time. I have other things to do with my life, right? So here is understand that the entrepreneur, ends up in this situation exactly like I talked to about, David's father, with their wife and kids depressed, and they're like, what am I supposed to do now? All right, I don't have time for this. I need to make money. Right? My wife never worked a day in her life. Without me, she's gonna die from hunger. Right? So these are things that, depending on who do you want in your life, you need to know who you're choosing from the beginning, not 10 years after the marriage when I have to fix it all. Right? So this is the entrepreneur is amazing, but don't expect any woman out there, please don't expect him for you to be number one in his life. It's not gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. If he doesn't have a mother, an ex-wife, or his kids, you're number 4. If you get lucky, you're still number 4 on his list. If you get lucky.
So how do you deal with that? Say you is a lady, you're married to an entrepreneur, and you are now understanding that is the situation, but you still want to keep the friendship or the relationship or the marriage.
No, if you're married, you have to keep your marriage, right? So what every single person wants, all these 4 archetypes: love and attention. Now, love and attention can be for 5 minutes for an entrepreneur, or for a longer for a manager, or for a princess, right? So here is, you have to figure it out how to measure it all. Don't ask your entrepreneur husband to come from a business trip because the dog is sick, or the dog already died. He doesn't care. Get another dog. Okay? This is not a problem. If you're sick, if you're in a hospital, if your kid is in a hospital, yeah, he's coming. Okay? So here is like, you need to measure what your battles are. Right? Because, it's like this man was inundated about what she cooks for her son for dinner. I don't care. Just have dinner. Okay? Don't let him hungry, the poor kid. Right? It's like so you need to stop. You need to stop with things that don't matter for people. Right? Because you're not helping. You're just putting more resentment or more strain on that person, right? Or somebody's like, oh, I want to buy you a picture, a souvenir to have it. I'm like, honey, it's not going to even make it to the house. I'll throw it straight in the garbage outside. How you even do presents, it matters depending on the archetype. Tell me how person looks like, behaves, and I'll tell you which present to buy them. Do not buy them presents that don't matter, right? Like, or an entrepreneur, he's going to be casual, not trash, dressed up, casual. It's exactly like Hugh Hilton that we both know, the $800 million guy. So he has a suit and a tie and a shirt, but he has blue jeans, right, and tennis shoes, right? But his watch on his hand is $1 million watch. This is how they dress up. You think that person is going to buy them candy, or give him a card, or come on, man. Or give him an aftershave or some kind of perfume. Grow up. You can't give him that kind of present. Okay? If you want to give him a present, sure, an exclusive trip to nobody ever heard of. Okay? That would be a present for them that they would pay attention to. All right? Not a gift card for $100 free golf. He has his own golf course. He doesn't need that. Right? So here you need to very mindful see who this person is, right? Which one, what it is, right? For example, for a king, which is number 4 archetypes, pictures are important. He keeps pictures from 20 years ago. I'm throwing them all away. I don't care. Okay, I'm going to use this. What are you going to use it for? I'm going to look at it in 20 years. Who cares? All right. So that's the entrepreneur, and this is how you need to know which archetype you're talking to, including of how you talk to them. If I talk to my husband, which is water and earth, as fast as I talk to you, the poor man is going to get tired in 20 minutes. I just shut up. Okay? After 20 minutes, he has a headache. And like, oh, I talk too much. Never mind. Okay? So here is, you need to have, how should I say, if you don't realize you're doing this, right, as a man or as a woman, you need to have check bounds in place. Like my son always would tell me, Mom, I wish you would have a mute button. Oh, clearly. Got it. I don't get upset when he tells me that. I actually take it as a feedback. Like, thank God I didn't do this to my husband. All right? Keep quacking like women do, right? So these kind of things, you need to be mindful of each archetype, how it goes, who do you want, what do you want? Because the formula is super, super simple. And when you do the right thing, you get the true love that we talked about. You don't get resentment and heartbreaking and abandonment and fear of what they're going to think about me and all of this stuff. You get exactly pure, simple, true love. Does it make sense, Yeukai?
Absolutely, absolutely. So if you're joining us, you do want to check out this training program that Ana has put together. As you can tell here, there is so much knowledge for us to cover in a very short space of time. And I truly, truly want you to go check it out, because if you can master love, you're already mastering money. If you can master this aspect of your life, things will begin to fall into place. So I want you to go to this website. Just let me give it to you back again. For those who are not able to click it, just go to Ana Lennyr here. If you can, I will send it for you. So you have it right there. It's An, is it ANALENNYER.com/love-YK. That /love-YK. You'll be able to get this training, which is going to cover or go in details about the 4 men and women archetypes. You're going to learn about how to transform your relationships right now where you are. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life. You can press restart button and get everything in place. You also learn how to communicate perfectly with your archetype men or women and effortlessly, and get what you truly want, which is love or respect and all things that we truly want. So just go to that website again, which is ANALennyr.com/love-YK. You'll be able to learn. In fact, you've got a bonus coaching session with Ana right there. That 1 hour alone is going to change your life. So I want you to go get that for sure. And as we come to the end of our time together, because we've been here already for quite a bit of time, let's talk about the king. I know you touched a few things about the king there, but let's just go a little bit deeper in there. What sort of king, what sort of things the king wants and how to keep that king. Would you just share that with us, and then we wrap up here?
So the king is what each queen wants and never succeeds to get him. You got to be very careful what to do to get him, right? The king is usually a 9-to-5 job guy, right? Or if he worked in the government or the military, he's very stable. But the problem with him is he can get extremely angry. And if you have ever met people that are angry, that are in jail today because they were angry, all those are kings, broken kings, right? Because those people care about their domain, they respect a lot, right? Everybody in the family, and they're amazing. They're like, I know the name is not very popular of Vladimir Putin, but this is the example that I give all the time. He is a king. Every billionaire out there is a king, right? Because they have an entire kingdom to take care of, right? And this is what each queen wants. And they always end up to get princesses in their life for some reason, because they think they cannot live without them, right? But be very careful. This is the only man that it is dangerous to leave him. It is dangerous to cross him because he gets so angry, he can break your neck in 1 second, okay? So this is the only man that is dangerous. So the entrepreneur is just going to leave, okay? He doesn't know how to handle things, bye-bye, right? But this is the only man that it's extremely dangerous. So when you're afraid about heartbreak, Yeukai, right? When you're afraid about these things, usually people come to me with 5 problems, right? Oh, both people need to work on a relationship. No, this is the water person that believes that, the princess and the creator that believe that all people have to work on a relationship. You need to know who you are, who do you want. If you want somebody else, you need to switch around the energies, okay, to get what you truly want. And stop complaining that everybody's got to work on the relationship with you. They only want to be with you, right? The second person is like, that comes to me is like, just love is just coming, follow your instincts. This is the manager and the mistress talking. I'm like, no, you are going to slip into the 4 types of relationship that don't work, especially if you've never seen one that works. There are 4 types that don't work and 2 that works. If you ever met one that doesn't work, especially for your archetype, you're just going to end up with not working, right? Because we've been conditioned to think that what my parents did and what a neighbor did is good for me. We're very different archetypes. They're different archetypes, they're different people. It doesn't work for them what works for you. That's why you need to know who you are and who you want. Another problem when people come to me is like, oh, I failed in the relationship and I'm afraid to try again. I'm not going to try again. I'm good by myself. This is usually the entrepreneur that talks about, you're afraid of heartbreak. You don't want to try again. It's easier to dismiss. But we had clients at the age of 74 depressed because they were alone in their life. And I keep telling people, who's going to come to your funeral? Your accountant and your banker? Maybe not, because they need to find another client. You died. So they need to look for another client, right? Let's face it, right? So then we have these people, heartbreak is normal. It's just going to happen to you. Like, if you want this, no problem. Most people from heartbreak end up in depression. From depression, they end up having heart attacks a year after their divorce. Okay, all this needs to stop if you know exactly how can you fix things in relationships. Or if you start with exactly who you want to be, what you want in your life. And the last problem that I get is from all the people that are asking from advice from other broken people, therapists and psychologists. I was one of them 22 years ago. I studied psychology. I was suicidal, by the way, even after I graduated from psychology, right? And all these 4 archetypes we talked about have different views, and they will give you different advice for your marriage or your relationship. A different advice than you are. You're a different archetype. The princess and the creator is going to tell you, just go relax, meditate. I'm like, who can I strangle first before I do that? The fire person will tell you, the manager and the mistress is going to say, just go on vacation, buy them a new present. I'm like, have more sex with who do you want me to have sex? Okay, with a neighbor? Right?
Wow.
The entrepreneur of a queen, he says, just travel some more. And I had a client, it's like, a therapist told me to travel some more, just to leave my family alone. It's like, if I travel some more, my kids are going to call the police when I get home. They're not going to recognize me. Okay. If I travel any more than I already do, right? So please make sure you guys don't ask for, therapists and psychologists about all these broken advices, right? Because we're willing to pay them, but we're not willing to ask them, how did you fix your marriage? How did you find the right partner? How did you fix your difficult child? And how long did it took? Because I tell my clients clearly, you can fix your marriage in a week, okay? Or in 30 days, depending on what it is. 30 days will be the max, right? You can fix your difficult teenager in 6 weeks. I tell them exactly what it takes for them to get their mind at it, right? So these are the problems we encounter all the time. And it really matters, because you're going to end up like one of our clients who was dating somebody, Yeukai, and he was dating like 1,000 women, and he comes to me, what's wrong with me? I'm like, you don't know who you are and who you want. But there's nothing wrong with you, right? And then he did this training, and then after the 8th date, he's like, I want to marry her. I'm like, whoa, take a step back. Now you're scaring me. Let's think about this. Okay. But for him, it was, for many people, when they have somebody behind them like me that knows how to fix everything in the relationship, in depression, in all these problems, they feel very comfortable with making step forwards, because they know it's like, we have you behind. I'm like, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I'll tell you what to do. Just be willing to do it and be done with it.
Absolutely amazing. This has been incredible, Anna, and we certainly love to have you on to talk about another aspect. But for those who wants to take their learning further, please go to this website here, and you'll be able to take advantage of the training program we put together. Go to Ana Lennyr, which is LENNYEYR for Romeo.com/LoveYK. Once you are on that site, you will be taken to a place where you will discover a lot of great information there. And like we always say, pick 1, 2, 3 things that you're going to implement, and then you come back, take another 2 or 3 things that you implement. You will be amazed at what the direction your life will take. Anna, thank you so much for joining us here on the show today.
Thank you, and thank you for advocating for your audience, because these trainings are very, very expensive, right? So you were the one who advocated for it. So please make sure you thank Yeukai's Business Show for this.
Oh, thank you. This is true, because your programs, they're quite pricey. The value, of course, is incredible, but what we have agreed on here truly is it's affordable. It's within reach for a lot of people. We want to help you transform your life. So again, thank you, Anna, for making a concession right there. In fact, I remember when we were talking, you were giving people, you were investing in people. Really, that's what you were doing, just investing in.
Yes, you invest in your personal life, you're going to be a money-making machine. Absolutely. There are 2 types of people in the world: one who wants to kill you, and one who will kill for you. Make sure you don't live with the ones who wants to kill you.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here on the show, and we can't wait to hang out with you some other time. And I'll be bringing some incredible guests over the next few weeks to help you with your business and also with your love. Because remember what we said right at the beginning, that you want to master the game of life. So if you master the money aspect and you're doing very well, are you also mastering the love aspect of your life? If not, you've got a great training that we put together for you. You just want to go get it. And also send us some questions or let us know how you're getting on. And we will be honored to support you along the journey. And remember to live well, live with passion, and truly the best is yet to come. Goodbye, everyone. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you for listening to Yeukai Business Show. We will be back to bring you more episodes with success stories and advice straight from the experts. Want more? Check out www.yeukaibusinessshow.com. Get your free trial of our virtual assistant service today. Just visit www.worldoutsourcingsolutions.com. Quote WOS18 or send us an email at support@worldoutsourcingsolutions.com.